final speaker, who is Chris Bowden. Can I please call on Chris's evaluator, Amanda Betch, to outline the aims of the speech?
Chris is speaking from the Advanced Storytelling Manual and project number 5, which is Bring History to Life. His objectives are to understand the purpose of stories about historical events or people, and to use all the storytelling skills that he's accumulated so far to tell a story about this historical event or person. The timing of this is 7 to 9 minutes, and the title is Eureka Beneath the Southern Cross.
Thank you, Amanda. Chris has been a Toastmaster now for almost 6 years and finished his Advanced Communicator Bronze just last week at a club in London. He says Toastmasters has allowed him to find a confidence in himself that he didn't know was possible when he was younger. So now, with his speech entitled Eureka Beneath the Southern Cross, please welcome Toastmaster Chris Bowden.
It was midnight, and Peter Layla once again checked the defences of the stockade. The stocky Irishman knew that it was a ramshackle affair, mostly made of overturned mine carts and bits of timber fashioned into fences. It wouldn't hold out long against experienced troops. But he knew that the courage of the diggers would hold true when the attack came. When Commissioner Reid's troops stormed the stockade, as they inevitably would, Peter Layla knew that the hearts of the diggers surrounding him would hold firm. Commissioner Reid. Layla reflected on the man who had caused so much of their suffering. The Victorian government had introduced the miners' right in 1851, a monthly licence, and it had caused problems ever since. The costs kept going up. In 3 years, the miners could barely stay afloat. Every time they complained about it, the response was to send in more police, do more licence checks, and hand out more fines. Reid's men were the worst. They were brutal, they were unfair. They took joy in torturing the miners, as if a man would care about a piece of paper when he's 10 feet down a mine shaft digging at a gold seam. But Reid's men would rough them up, hand them out fines and laugh as they walked away. The Miners' Reform League had met with the state governor and Commissioner Reid just the week before to air their grievances. Well, they pretended to listen. But Reid's response was to double the licence searches and bring up reinforcements from Melbourne. Layla knew that though the Reform League loved to talk, the one thing that would be understood was action. 4 days ago, he called a vote. He now led the miners. In their first act of defiance, thousands of men had burned their hated licences. Well, of course, Reid's men turned up the next day, reinforcements in tow. They arrested a dozen, but barely got away with their lives. The miners resolved that no trooper would enter the goldfields again, and Australia's first open rebellion had started. Peter turned his attention to the flagpole in the centre of the stockade. By the clear moonlight, he could see the flag there. They created it themselves. Bright blue with the 5 stars of the Southern Cross emblazoned over it. 2 days before, he'd raised the flag and led everyone in the oath. We swear by the Southern Cross to stand truly by each other and fight to defend our rights and liberties. He felt so proud then. Thousands of men and women in front of him, all united together with a common cause against a common enemy. Irishmen like him, Australians, English, Americans, Chinese, all together. They trained today with the troops from California, 200 men with horse and rifle. They'd be useful if it came to an open fight. They'd gone off this afternoon chasing rumours of British reinforcements coming up from Melbourne. It did worry Peter that their numbers were very thin this night. There were well over 1,000 men there today, but in the evening, this being Saturday night, most of them had gone back to their tents or back to their digs. After all, it was a Sabbath. Even Commissioner Reid would not be so unpious as to launch an attack on Sunday. But Layla checked with the sentries again, made sure they were clear about their task, then lay down on bedroll to see what the morning would bring. He was awoken by the shouts of men and the cries of horses. O'Malley was shaking him awake. Peter, Peter, they're attacking! Hearing the chaos around him, the shots of rifles, he gathered his pistols and his whips and leapt to his feet. To me! He shouted, hoping to gather the diggers to him before they would fall back to the gravel pits where they knew the territory. Peter advanced, men gathering to him. To his left, he saw 2 miners fall, wounded, crying out. To his horror, troopers advanced on them, bayonets drawn, driving them into them, till they made no more sound. Off at his right, he ran on a fallen miner. His wife threw herself over him as troopers advanced, trying to kill them, and Peter's pistol managed to take one of them down. As he reached the flagpole in the centre of the stockade, a shot tore through his arm. He stumbled to the ground and was helped to his feet by a few others. They scrambled to the far side of the stockade and hid beneath some timber. The clear moonlight showed a scene of absolute horror. The troopers clambered over the walls from every direction. Miners fell, men in chains shot, having surrendered. Peter couldn't believe his eyes. The Battle of the Eureka stockade was a rout, barely 10 minutes, and it was lost. Come on, Peter, we have to go. O'Malley was at his side, trying to drag him into the bush behind them. No! We can't, we have to... Peter, come on! He was dragged away into the night. Diggers scattered in every direction, running into the darkness, some to their bolt holes, some simply running. The official reports would later say 22 dead, 12 wounded. But no one ever found out how many men died a lonely and agonising death in the bush from their wounds. Peter Layla spent the night walking alone. The bullet had shattered the bone in his arm, and the pain and the loss of blood dragged him down. He walked a full day and a night, and it was Monday morning before he found the farm of a trusted friend who told him that there was a bounty on his head. He was smuggled to a church where a surgeon would amputate his now useless arm. Martial law was declared on the goldfields, and Reid ruled the camps with an iron fist for weeks. If the government thought that this would be the end to the Goldfields Rebellion, they were sadly mistaken. Word started to spread about the massacre at the Eureka stockade, and there was a public outcry. People took to the streets. On that night, 100 men were taken away in chains. Only 13 ever faced trial. Every single one was acquitted, to the cheering of the gallery. It was 6 months after the Battle of the Stockade that the bounty on Peter Layla's head was lifted. He'd been in hiding ever since. He emerged a hero, now a legend of folklore. Quickly he was elected to state parliament, a champion of freedom and democracy. In time, changes swept the goldfields. The miners' right was established. Votes were given. Peter Layla served a long career as a politician. Today, nothing remains of the Eureka stockade. No one's even exactly sure where it is. The landscape was dug up so many times. But the courage of those people who stood for freedom against oppression will never be forgotten. Mr. Toastmaster.